Welcome to our second shift conversation. I'm Franz.
I'm Tisha.
And today we're going to talk about change. That's a challenging subject for all of us. And so I've been thinking, Tisha, it's been a little over a year that I made the decision to leave a congregation that I served for 20 years. And that was a really tough change. I had to go through a long process of transition. And yet, I look over the last year and the new opportunities that I've been able to take on, and the way I would frame that year is that it was both challenging and exhilarating. Lots of renewed energy came to me, lots of new possibilities in terms of how I work with other people. We've been doing a lot of collaborative work here in the conference office and trying to silo less, and this is really exciting. And it all was made possible because instead of being fearful of change, I was able to say to myself, in faith, let's go for it.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about change in the life of our congregations, but it really starts with change in our own lives.
Yeah. I was thinking, Franz, one of the most significant changes that I've made in my lifetime was the decision to become a foster parent. And when the social worker called and said they had a 20-month baby boy that needed a home, and we made the decision to have him come, I had no idea all the ways in which that would change my life. And yet I look back on it, and despite the huge challenges that presented in my life and working with him and with his family and with the foster care system, I wouldn't ever want to change a thing about it, because it was one of the most important experiences of my life. And now he's 11 years old and we have this beautiful relationship. He's with his family. I get to spend time with him and with his family, and it's turned out to be one of the best things that I've ever done. But going through that experience was really, really hard.
That reminds me, when we approach change, the only thing we can think about in the beginning is our fear and our uncertainties. But after we make changes, we see all of the unexpected blessings that have come to us. In my family, sometimes we talk about change as that which we least want, but that which we most need. And change is probably good for us, even though it's challenging.
It's at the very center of our Christian story, too. The whole story about Jesus' ministry and death and resurrection is all about the way in which it's all about change. The disciples had to make a lot of changes in order to follow Christ, and when he died, they didn't know what was going to happen, and new life was born. And so I think part of it also has to do with people of faith, of trusting that God is with us as we go through these difficult things. And we have not, in the church, done a good job with change over our history, and so we have a lot of work to do to learn how to be more nimble and more responsive and less fearful, and to trust in the Spirit to be with us as we think about the ways in which we can really shift, not keep working harder at the things we've always done, but figure out how to approach ministry in some fresh ways so that we can really share the gospel with the world more effectively than we do now.
Part of being steeped in such a rich tradition is that it leads us to think that we can't give anything up. And we can actually shift and make changes and hold on to the richness of tradition as well. I think that's part of our challenge. But I really appreciate your thought about tinkering around the edges is probably not going to be the way we shift the church into the future for the 21st century. We're going to have to make some more dramatic paradigms.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about that at the board retreat in September with the board of directors. What are the ways in which we, as a staff even, and with the board of directors, need to leap out into the unknown to take some risks? So these videos are a huge risk for both of us, and to try something new. So that's what we're hoping that you all will do, is talk about change in your lives, talk about change in your church, think about how you can strategize to be able to move through the resistance when it comes, because undoubtedly it always comes. When we make change, we resist. It's just human nature. So how can you be thinking about some smart changes, some strategic ways to shift in the life of your congregation to just share the gospel and be the church of Jesus Christ in the world in the way that maybe you haven't before?
So take some risks and have these conversations, and feel free to share with each other what were the unexpected blessings that came in the changes that you've had to make in life.
Yeah, and as always, if you haven't, please go to the website, www.wcucc.org/shift. Let us know that you're out there and that you're interested in this conversation, and we'll be in touch.
Enjoy.